Up until now, Boltyn has basically been unplayable in Commoner. He just really didn't have the tools to do his thing, and trying to do what the other warriors do, well, they just do it better, right? But with some of the new tools in Dusk Till Dawn, I believe Boltyn has gone from borderline unplayable to being a hero that can pull some games down with tuning, reps, and practice. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, my flesh and blood friends. Welcome back to Dice Commando for another Commoner video. That's right, talking Boltyn after Dusk Till Dawn. Now, let's get something out of the way. Is he top tier? I absolutely do not think so. But at least he's finally able to at least hold his own kind of in the general field in the Commoner format. And I'm pretty excited about that, mainly because I really enjoy Commoner as a format at a kind of as a casual level, really great entry point for folks. And now being able to add Boltyn into the mix, I think really helps his overall narrative within kind of the game culture at large. And I think that's a good thing. Also want to remind folks that Battle Hardened Portland registration is open. It's coming September 16th through 17th, being hosted by Fab Foundry. Travis, we've sung his accolades for years on here. Really good guy. So go over, check that out if you're going to be in the area, or maybe you have time, you want to fly and check it out. Should be a great event. When you do go over to Fab Foundry, please use my discount link, my affiliate link below. I get a small kickback from that, and much appreciated. And also, if you've used it in the past, go ahead and click on it again. Evidently, it works on cookies, and like if you clear your cookies, I don't know, just use the link. Thank you. All right, talking Boltyn today. Now, he got some pretty okay tools out of it. He got some really good ones, and then he got some okay tools in Dusk Till Dawn. But those okay tools, some of them were what will help fill out our deck today, just because, well, he just kind of needed more charge cards overall for Commoner, right? He'd kind of been limited to Take Flight and then Courage and Engulfing. That was basically what he had. Express Lightning in there too, to be fair. But this is what he picked up. So Glaring Impact, not a very good card. Let's be honest, right? It's a 1 for 3. It's online with Take Flight. It doesn't give itself a bonus, and it has Overpower, but like, right? But the red 1/4. It's not a charge card, so that does help. Light the Way is actually pretty good overall when it charges yellow in this case. And keep in mind, Glaring Impact is yellow, but Light the Way, when it's yellow, you actually get Go Again. So you actually stock one in your soul, which is good, right? Which is good. And then we have, as I've sung the praises in the constructed form, or the non-commoner constructed formats, Resounding Courage is, I think, really good. I think it's arguably one of the best cards out of the set for Boltyn. +3, 2, and 1 on your Light Warrior attack. That's just 1 for 3. You don't need to have charged, but if you did charge, you poop out a Courage token. I really like using this kind of end turn and then having that Courage token going into my next turn, so that when I, sometimes when you lead with those Ear-Throughs and they don't block it, you're kind of shut down. You only have snappies once. So I really like having that Courage token to begin my turn so that it kind of can help move that stuff along, right? And then the big pickup for him in terms of Commoner format, in my opinion, is Beaming Blade. That is what we're going to be building the deck around today. So once per action for 2 attack, and if a yellow card has been put into your hero's soul this turn, it gets +5. Now, that's a very important distinction of not charging, specifically because it works with the Halo, right, which we are going to be playing as well. So in a pinch, you can Halo yellow card in and then Beaming Blade. It's only one time, but it's in a pinch if you can't get it to work. It's a very, very important distinction. So Beaming Blade is kind of, I know it's not the poor man's Raiden, because Raiden's kind of 0 and this one costs, but I think you understand what I'm saying is it's not as good as Raiden. I mean, very, very clearly. But 2 for 5, it's not too shabby, right? You just have to basically chuck another card into it. All right, and then another good pickup from this was just from the generic light cards, Searing Ray, because if you have a yellow card in your pitch zone, this gets +2. So that doesn't even have to charge. You would actually just pitch for it. That's pretty neat in this. So it's the 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 2, right? Depending on the cycle. And then one last comment before we get into the deck itself. Charge of the Light Brigade. People, please stop. This card is not, I hear people get excited about, this card's not good. This card is not good at all. The next attack you charge this turn gets +3, go again. Just play Nimbleism. You don't have to worry. I mean, right? Because everything in the deck is gonna, I mean, you can build your deck such that everything has cost 1 or less, and just play Nimbleism, right? I realize it blocks for 1 less, but come on. Sorry, I know I sound maybe a little frustrated on that, but seems like we keep having this conversation with different people, and it's the card's not good, folks. Do not play that card. All right, let's go ahead and bring up the deck. So obviously the link is below. You can check that out. I will make sure that that's linked over to the FabDB. But yes, this is a Beaming Blade build. So we have Beaming Blade, we have Blossom of Spring. I do have Gallantry Gold. That's for block matches. Then we're running Halo of Illumination. I think that's the right headpiece with Beaming Blade, just in case, like I mentioned, with your out. We have Iron Wrought Plate in case we run into more of like an armor matchup. We've got the boots, the gloves, and the robe, all no rune. We have Snappies, absolutely the right include here. And then I have Stubby Hammers, which is going to be your preferential piece. Again, most of these, or a lot of the cards in this are going to be 3 or less, so that tracks. And then we also have Vest of the First Fist. Depending on, Vest of the First Fist is also going to be the one that you want to start with. But again, if you're running into something where you think you're going to need maybe a little more resources out of the gate, Icelander is a thing. Actually, that's a bad, because the Frostbite, you'd actually have to pay for Blossom anyway. But Icelander is a thing, so if you think you need to get your chain started or something like that, Blossom of Spring is there. For the one, Take Flight being a great example, right? Sometimes you just don't have the cards to pitch and you need to start with Take Flight, okay? That's the First Fist obviously works really well with something hitting and then paying for your Beaming Blade. So kind of a trade-off there depending on really your matchup. Okay, let's go into the deck overall. We have Rainbow Bolt of Courage, very, very strong card, not necessarily as your chain starter, because remember, this one doesn't, it's not like you have to charge to this effect. It's if you've charged this turn, you're threatening the draw on hit. So this is super good as like Take Flight into Bolt of Courage or something like that. So it's kind of your second one. They blocked the first and weren't necessarily thinking about having to block the second. And then you're still threatening that maybe potentially another card after that, or then your sword. I do have red, yellow, Courageous Steel Hand. These, and then let's go ahead and talk about Resounding Courage right below it, also red, yellow. These are, I believe, the key to the deck, right? In order to not only push the damage, but also ensure that you can get the bonus when you need it to be able to give it go again. It's very, very, very important. Do remember that we do have our Stubbies turn, right? You're only going to get 1 turn with Stubbies. Everything will get its +1. You probably want to have at least a card in Soul at minimum, probably 2 before you try and do your thing, right? Because you're going to have probably a 2 in Soul, 1 in Arsenal, go and just try to go wide, right? And that's going to be your turn you try to string together. But you obviously have to make it there, okay? And part of the way you're going to make it there is by putting the pressure on and making them block. Otherwise, you're not going to live through it, right? Engulfing Light, same idea as Bolt of Courage. This one's nice because when if you've charged, when it hits, it goes into Soul, so it kind of back feeds, which is really nice. Express Lightning is just a really good one. It's 1 point above curve, but it doesn't have any effect. Okay, it does let you charge. Illuminate, obviously, when it hits, goes into Soul. No charge there, but that one's really nice to build up. I do have Raging Onslaught. Again, we're playing a non-sideboard format. Prism's a thing. This one's yellow, blocks 3. Perfect, right? It's perfect as a popper. Rainbow Take Flights, of course. Push the Point I really like in this because, again, if it's hit, if you've hit before, Push the Point comes in with a bonus, and then you can do the thing. We do have red, yellow, Light the Way. Remember, this is if you charge yellow to this effect, right? Very important, right? It's different than Bolt of Courage. It's to this effect. If you've charged that, then this one gains go again, and then Searing Ray. So that's the deck. Pretty straightforward. There are only a handful of blues in here, right? We only have 4 blues in here if you look at the breakdown. But he needs to run heavy. He needs to run, by heavy, I mean he needs to run light, I guess, in this case. He needs to have 0-3s, 1-4s in this case, and keep the pressure on. So that's how he's going to be successful. And this is the deck. I've gotten some reps with it. It's, again, like I said, it is not a top tier deck, but it's no longer a garbage tier. Boltyn is no longer a garbage tier hero, right? And deck like this can make it work. I would say in the average game, I probably end up swinging the sword twice, realistically, right? Because that 2 is sometimes hard to come up with because again, if you're taking flight, then you need to have a blue, right? So if you find yourself being like in the play style where you want to swing your sword more, probably you can make a couple, like you could probably drop maybe the yellow Express Lightnings and go blue Engulfing Light or something similar like that. I do think blue Engulfing Light would be the next add on this, again, just because the hit into soul thing, and a lot of time they're not going to block the blue if you're throwing it out, so it can help you build up your soul. But lots of options there. If you wanted, you could drop some of the reds even, and have more 0/4s, or excuse me, drop the 4s, and that way you have more 3s for your stubbies turn if you're finding that you're getting jammed up. I wouldn't drop Illuminate though, because Illuminate's a really good like single card hand, because they don't want it to go on your soul, but they're probably not going to block it. So I would not drop that one. All right, but that's the deck at large. Try it out, have some fun with it. Again, it's really nice to be able to see Boltyn actually playable kind of in his way in Commoner. I think it's really cool. So anyway, folks, let me know in the comments below what you think. If nothing else, folks, go Commando.